Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Sleepy Hollow, Season 2, Episode 1, This is War. I'm your host, Dom. With me, I have my co-host, Benjamin Cleo.
Hello?
And Pichelle.
What's up?
Pat and Michelle. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. Thursday, woohoo.
It's good to have Pat and Michelle on a second show. If you guys are not familiar with them, they do the Doctor Who podcast, also with Miss Cleo over here. She will read your fortune for a very cheap price.
She might.
So,
Only your soul.
only your soul. What
25.
is? Can you read my lifeline?
It's either that or tree
Ooh,
fitting.
not looking good.
No? Well, that's because I'm dead already. So
It stopped a long time ago.
Vampire duh.
yes, exactly. All right, so Sleepy Hollow. We actually did not cover Sleepy Hollow yet. We're in season 2 of Sleepy Hollow. We have yet to cover it. Season 1, we really wanted to do it. It was a show we talked about very early. We actually watched the premiere of Sleepy Hollow, and we had discussed that we wanted to do it. We just did not have the time. We couldn't fit it in. I just wanted to know, what were your guys' opinions of the first season before we jump into the second season?
That's so good.
It was awesome. Love the characters.
The last episode, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, really got to a point where, yes, you left in a good cliffhanger, but I was so pissed off that it wasn't like, oh yeah, it's only 3 months to the next one.
No,
It's like, no, I gotta wait a whole freaking 9 months.
Yeah. I watched, I had seen half of the season when it was coming out. But I watched every single episode in one day while I was tediously making all these tiny clay pieces. I was just watching, mindlessly making clay pieces.
It was, 13 episodes, season 1?
Yeah.
So, a lot of character development there. You got to really find the background of each character and why they are who they are.
Right.
I feel like with Jenny and her relationship with her sister Abigail too. Like, you really find out, and it sets the story. That's what I liked to the whole. I think season 1, like most series do, season 1 usually sets up your characters, the type that they're going to be, the personality, everything.
Yeah. I mean,
That's very good.
Ichabod Crane was probably, for obvious reasons, the most interesting character on the show.
Very funny.
There was a few moments where I kind of got annoyed with the writing, and those very few moments was when they take an obscure piece of, not obscure, but they take a piece of history and obscurely link it with Ichabod just for the sake of saying that he was there. One was his mistress. I don't remember the exact female that they used. It was Margaret Thatcher. Not really. I don't know. It was something. They just
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross. That's what. No, and Abigail just randomly goes, "Oh, Betsy Ross," and he just looks at her like, "You knew her?" It was moments like that that felt extremely forced to me.
I
Inaccuracy.
am a giant fan of Assassin's Creed, so I'm very used to the kind of historical fiction that this uses too. So that to me wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you go into the show thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be straight history with a little bit of, with a story on the side, like a made up story, then you're not. It's the complete opposite. It's a full fictional story, which is a little bit of history in there, but a lot of it, if you pay close attention, you'll see a lot of it was accurate.
I think it's a plus and a
especially the
minus.
years.
Because there's certain things in the timeline that it's like, oh yeah, hey kids, look it up. It's actually hopefully teaching people at the same point. But there's other parts that it's so inaccurate, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna throw a date and a time, and if some kid actually watched Sleepy Hollow trying to use this for a history paper, he'd be screwed.
Yeah, it's very true.
I mean, it's so fictional that I don't think you would
Yeah.
that would really cross many people's
It's just
minds.
like movies. Like you know, if everything was to like the book, or if everything was to like the actual point in history, then
like the
it would be more of a documentary.
Like the episode
not
with
a story.
Roanoke. What did we do afterward? Okay, we were looking in and researching Roanoke and how it would actually possibly play any kind of tie
I do remember
with
that.
the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are that intrigued, it's going to hopefully make them actually look into history as opposed to being like, oh, look, episode, all right, switch to the next TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Like I said, my gripes with it were very minor. I thought the show is brilliant, especially Sleepy Hollow is coming in at a time when like TV shows kind of come and go in phases, and it seems like the whole supernatural type shows are really winding down. They're coming toward the end. Like Walking Dead's been going on for a while. They're talking about doing a Walking Dead spin-off or whatever. But shows that are more grounded in like reality, like the Breaking Bads and stuff like that, and you know the Dexters, those kind of came and went too, right? And it
It's
seems
true.
like
Everything
the
goes
big
through
trend right now has switched over to comic books, and that's the big thing. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got really big last year. It came back stronger than ever. Gotham's coming out. Flash is coming out. Arrow is doing well. It's in its 3rd season now, and Heroes is coming back next year. So
What?
Something too.
yeah,
Wait, to ABC?
they're doing Heroes Rebirth or Reborn, and it's gonna take place in like I don't know. I think it takes place during the time of the other franchise and not after. I don't know exactly. There's not a whole lot of details on it, but it's a brand new franchise. It's not a continuation necessarily. It's just parallel universe thing. So, but like right now, TV's kind of switched to the comic book thing. That's like the big show right now. So Sleepy Hollow's still like it's doing well. It's doing well for itself. I know when it was at Comic-Con, it had a huge following there.
Oh my
And
god, that was
you were actually there for that, right, Cleo?
Yes, I actually
Which
missed the
Comic-Con?
last 15 minutes of it or something because I tried to get online for somebody's signature and I didn't get it. End of story. But that was the only panel where they actually came around and told me to put my camera away.
Which
Wow.
did you go to New York's Comic Con, or was
Yeah.
that San Diego's?
That was New York.
New York. We were gonna go this year, but we're going to California.
Yeah.
During the time, so next year
Yeah,
we're planning to go. Hopefully. But it's funny though, like because last year was all about the zombies thing, or this, like Dom, you were saying supernatural, anything ghosts. This year, you're right, the whole comic thing. I think, and the movies really helped. The Avengers, everything.
Yeah. It's
Starting
just-
with like Iron Man, all of those.
Yeah,
Which
we're
don't get
starting to
me
see that shift. Like, it hasn't completely made its way over yet. Like, there's still some really strong supernatural shows. Supernatural, for one, is still going strong. It's in
That's
its 10th
next
season
year.
this year,
I think
right?
it's last season this year.
Yeah.
Just
Vampire Diaries is in its 5th or 6th season. I think it's going into its 5th?
Yep.
6th? I don't even know. I can't keep track. And that story's kind of winding down, but they did their spin-off, The Originals, which had a very strong first season. Season 2 is going to be incredible, and it's like a lot darker of a show. So it's doing well. So these supernatural shows are not going away. That's not what I mean by any means. It's just like it's at the tail end of their life. Like True Blood is ending too, So
Well,
it's
they
just,
go in cycles, I think. Like they're
Yeah.
still there. and
Yeah,
people
exactly.
Love them, but then something else comes up, and it's like, wow, this is great. Like
Yeah.
Gotham. I don't know. I know this isn't Gotham, but that show, the first episode, we caught a glimpse of it. We're gonna watch it one of these nights.
Yeah.
It looks so good. The pilot.
Yep. We actually did a podcast on Gotham, so if you guys have not checked out our podcast, and this for the viewers at home, make sure to check that out. Pat Michelle, after you watch the episode, go check it out. Don't watch it before you watch the episode, obviously.
Xena was in it. Or wait, no, she
No,
was
that
in-
was S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was my bad. Oh my god.
There's so many shows on right now, it gets a little confusing, I understand. Alright, so getting back to Sleepy Hollow. Season 1 ended with Ichabod in a grave, Abby Mills trapped in purgatory, and Henry Parrish revealed himself to be Jeremy Crane, the son of both Ichabod and Katrina?
Katrina.
Katrina.
Yep.
Yes.
I keep calling her Katya because that's the name of the actress.
Right. And also that he is not only those two people, but he is also the Horseman of War. So that was kind of a very crazy last episode there. And just for the record, John Noble is one of my favorite actors. He's up there with me with like Robert Carlyle, who's currently Rumpelstiltskin in Once Upon a Time. Robert Carlyle and John Noble are like two of my favorite actors. When he was in Fringe, I think that was his best role yet. So I am just extremely happy to see John Noble in another series full time, and I'm looking extremely forward to seeing what he does this season. So, okay, so the episode started off, and it starts off with like a birthday party, and it's like I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm getting mad, like further and further. I'm like, is he in purgatory? They're offering him food. Like all these things started running through my head, and then 15 minutes go by, and they reveal that it was actually an hallucination. At what point did you guys realize that he was hallucinating?
That was tough.
I don't know. I can't. The whole time I was trying to figure it out. I was like, is he in purgatory now with her? Are they? No, they're eating. I was trying to figure it out, and I couldn't. Because I thought he was in purgatory, and that was fake Abby giving him a cupcake. But then she did a lot of very Abby things, and I'm like, okay, wait, that's real Abby.
See, and me and Pat thought maybe it was.
We thought it was an extreme flash forward.
And a fast
flash. Yeah.
And then
where
this
in
whole
turn,
season was going to be fast.
Where in turn it's like, okay, the first episode's gonna go almost halfway through the season real quick, and then we're gonna backtrack for like 3 episodes as to how he got out.
Like, shows have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely have.
And then when I saw, like, right when the complete change of it, I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Purgatory.
I couldn't enjoy the first 15 minutes because it was really bothering me. Like, I'm like, is this purgatory? Is this a flash forward? Is this him hallucinating? Is this, like, his dying life flashing before his eyes kind of thing? And, like...
You're bothered by that, Dom. I'm bothered at the fact that Ichabod Crane was using guns throughout the whole freaking time. All of a sudden, he's using a crossbow. That pissed me off.
Well, see, that kind of seemed believable because they're using, like, these holy weapons now instead of guns because they realize that they don't work against the Horsemen.
Especially since him using a gun was sort of on the fly. We need you to shoot. Here's a gun. They wanted you to believe that a year had passed, and over the course of a year, he would get a weapon more suited to, sort of a weapon he wanted.
Right.
He's sort of...
But speaking of... Okay, I was going to ask a question about him actually getting in the grave, but since we're on this topic, I want to know, how well, later on in this episode, do you think he adjusted to the new technology?
Oh my god, like, perfectly.
Tenfold.
He made a call, he answered a text, I was like, Ichabod!
But he couldn't put a car in reverse.
My little boy.
I was driving the next step. But I was
just recording himself in the last will and testament. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But then he goes, oh, it didn't record. So I was like, oh, there he is.
But he answered his phone when he texted Jenny. I was like, Ichabod, good job.
Yeah.
I know, way to go. You're really coming along for a 200-year-old soul.
Yeah.
And a way to use a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so going back now, when he wakes up, he's in the grave. That was the moment I was like, I knew it, and I jumped up and I was like, okay, I'm excited. I can focus on the show again. Like I just couldn't focus on the first 15 minutes. I couldn't do it. But then he's like sulfur, and then he's like sticking paper up here, and he's like, boom. He lights a match. Boom.
Yep.
Wouldn't he have blown himself up?
That's what Pat says.
Yep. I honestly, I am going to write to Mythbusters and include that scene because I want that actually tested.
That would be a great Mythbusters episode.
Because that's the first thing. The second thing, I don't think it would even ignite because he was sitting there for how long? There's probably not that much oxygen left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how could he create the spark that would be large enough to light the piece of like flint or like fabric or whatever the hell it was to be able to set the explosion to occur?
See, but I don't even know how long he was in there.
I don't think it was that long because...
No, they didn't.
Jenny was still in captivity, don't forget. Right after that car accident.
It still looked like she just got them. It looked like that was her waking up for the first time after getting that car crash.
Yeah, but keep in mind, from that car accident to the point that she would be tied up and everything, let's give it at least 20 minutes to a half hour.
Yeah.
In 20 minutes to a half hour, you would lose enough oxygen inside of a coffin for you to pretty much die.
I don't know. Did you see the movie Buried?
What was that?
Did you see that movie Buried?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How long was that guy in there? He was in there for like 2 hours.
Like an
Yeah, and
hour.
Ichabod was unconscious.
But keep in mind,
use
too,
so
Ichabod-
much less oxygen when you're unconscious.
Keep in mind, Ichabod too is 200 years old. There might
But-
be something different there with him.
He is
No,
very
no,
mystical.
Human.
But no, he's
I
got
don't
to
know.
breathe normally. But keep in mind, at the same point,
Maybe.
he did panic. So panicking, you're using more oxygen. He went through that whole last will and testament, so he's jabberjawing the whole damn time
This
talking.
may have to be a
So
separate
therefore-
podcast, people.
using that much oxygen, you would think, I don't know, you probably could barely get a spark for it to go. I don't know. We're gonna have MythBusters prove that, and we'll bring that episode into this for the next time.
We'll do a special MythBusters episode.
Why don't we just do one easier? You guys put me in a coffin underground and put sulfur over the top, and I'll light a match.
You'll
I'll
be
stay
fine
in there.
as a vampire, don't worry about
I'll stay
it.
in there for 2 hours, light a match, and we'll see what happens.
Dom, I would gladly use you as a guinea pig.
Perfect. I love it.
Come over.
I love it. So yeah, but no, Michelle, I firmly believe if there's good conversation, I'm not cutting it short. So if this podcast goes for 36 hours, it's going for 36 hours.
That's it. That would be the end of our. That would be the end to our good long fights.
No, Ichabod clearly walked out of this big explosion hole without a scratch on him. He didn't even have like the Wile E. Coyote dirt puffs in his face.
Yeah.
He walked out unscathed.
Oh, Well, anyways.
All right, so there was a lot this episode dealing with Ben Franklin, right? We got to see a new twist on the key experiment, and mind you, like Cleo had mentioned that she is used to Assassin's Creed, where they kind of do this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that didn't bother me. Like, I like this kind. This had more of a National Treasure kind of feel to it to me.
Yes.
So, like,
the zaniness.
Well, we are talking about the Freemasons and the Founding Fathers. So.
right, exactly. So you take this key that was originally what we've discussed and known from our history books is it's the product of electricity. And in this, we find out that it's not. It's the key to purgatory, and he's trying to destroy it. It was really a cool twist.
Accidentally discovered electricity.
Accidentally, yes.
Even if the
what I was trying to
fires from
do.
the sky or whatever he put it can't destroy this thing, you know?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I love last season how Ichabod was correcting the tour guide about
yes. Oh my God.
Sam
was,
Adams.
yes.
Yeah.
I love
Now,
that.
correct me if I'm wrong. Ben Franklin was in last season, correct?
No.
No, I think we had a glimpse of him.
I think it was a very small glimpse of him, but I
Yeah.
believe he was in there. And
I
I'm about
Some
90.
flashbacks he was.
Yeah, I'm
Flashbacks.
about 90% sure they
We
switched
actually
actors on
beat
us.
him, but he was in flashbacks.
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I know it's. You think about it, it's been a year. So many
It must have been a
shows.
brief moment because more of what we've seen is George Washington.
Yeah.
We've seen like
Adams.
other characters. I don't think we really saw Ben Franklin.
I think we saw, like I said, a brief, like if anything, just like in a flashback, we saw maybe a brief. We didn't.
Maybe his face, but not him actually talking.
I don't think it was a big moment, but I do remember Ben Franklin at some point. He was addressed, and I'm almost positive. I'm about 90% sure that it was a completely different actor. So I don't like when they switch actors. I don't like it. I hate it. That's my biggest pet peeve in all of TV.
Aw.
See, my cat doesn't even like it.
Oh, hello, Jasper.
That's Chelsea. She's going nuts. I'm gonna have to ask her politely to shut up by stealing her toy from her. But while I go do that, what were you guys' opinions of Jenny Mills this season? Like, she seemed like a pretty big badass to me. She seemed pretty helpless last
I
season.
was gonna say that.
No, she was a badass.
She really took control. I think she
She's always
really.
been a badass.
She knew who she was. She stayed
We
true
need
to herself. She's not insane as people thought she was.
No,
Finally, people believe in her.
I
feel
think
like
it was.
it really helped her along, and now she's like, yeah, fuck you.
I don't think it's that. I'm gonna say contrary to your belief. I think she was timid in the sense of
That's fine.
she was hiding her mission. She was hiding her goal because she knew everybody else thought she was insane, but she knew better. She knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And you know what? The best person to have on your side is somebody that can keep a secret. So let them act, what was that phrase? My father said a phrase to me. It was, it's better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you're a fool than to open your mouth and prove it.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's true. Maybe.
So what's
Yeah,
the easier
definitely.
way?
She also was only starting to trust her sister again, who their relationship had always been.
Abandonment.
Maybe helpless was the wrong word, and I think damaged is more of an appropriate word to describe her last season. It seems like she's more focused now that she has the support of her sister, she has the support of Ichabod, and like she realizes that she wasn't actually crazy, and this stuff really was happening to her, and there's a lot more than she originally thought, and she's able to gain strength from that now.
I'm going to go with Lost. When you have no other support system, your sister leaves you in the time that you know damn well she knew what was going on. The only other person she had was it lieutenant or what was his title?
Chief.
Who?
The police officer that died
captain?
in the first episode.
Yeah,
Captain.
He was
their chief, right? Wasn't he? He was their mentor.
chief.
Yeah,
He was like the head of the department.
Yep.
Yeah, you have him die. So in turn, who else does she have to turn to? She has no one.
Yeah, I mean, she went to his cabin in like when she broke out of the mental institution. So
Yeah.
that's the only place she had to go.
Yeah. Another character from last season, Andy Brooks played a fairly large role last season, starting as a friend and coworker to Abby. Then he switched to dying, and then he was helping the Horsemen out, resurrected.
Did he die in
and
the
being a
first
messenger.
episode or the second episode?
It's really soon, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like not. I thought
When
he was
he-
going to last longer.
when he went
but I
flat
knew he had a
out-
part.
When he went flat out to tell everybody what was going on and that there was an actual headless horseman, that's when Moloch just went and snapped his neck. That's how he
Right.
died
He's like,
instantly.
Right. And then this season, we see him trying to redeem himself in purgatory by helping Abby.
Well, remember, he was possessed too. I don't think part of some of the stuff he did, he really wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like
well,
he was like he's a pawn. I think.
When he was still undead, he tried to help them by telling them how they could trap the horsemen, but then he was controlled by Moloch, so
Right.
ended up.
Exactly. So
Right. This is
Yeah.
the first time he's really had the opportunity by his own free will to help. I really, really like John Chow, the actor. Unfortunately, he's in another show called Selfie this year.
Yes. Ooh,
So
Aaron
what?
Gillian's in that too.
yes.
Really what it was.
So I'm curious if this other show. What do you guys think? Is this other show going to occupy his time? Do you think we're going to see him past the first episode since he's trapped in purgatory? We saw the gates of purgatory close and the portal disintegrate. The key disintegrated. Do you
I
think?
don't think so.
Do you think we're done with him, or do you think we're going to see him again?
I think we'll see him again. I mean, he's pretty much shown.
He
like,
doesn't need to be a huge integral role.
like he could come up.
can't-
He's probably going to be in another 2 or 3 episodes. I wouldn't say that he'd be throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
He's going to be like the paperclip on somebody's Windows computer.
Yeah. See, I was really,
Hey,
I
did
was
you forget
really
how to-
upset when he died last season, and then when he came back undead and he kept going, I'm like, yes, I was so excited to keep him going, and now he's in purgatory and we don't know his fate, and just the fact that I see him on another show,
Yeah.
it's
I also
got me
think
worried.
that he is the main character on another show. He does do movies. I don't think we're gonna see him again this season.
I think I'm gonna.
He might appear.
I'm gonna disagree and say he's gonna come twice, and honestly, he's probably gonna
Very
come
little
through.
minimal.
Hey, excuse me. He's gonna come through the mirror. Honestly, that's how I think it's gonna happen. He's gonna go into Moloch's little
Oh yeah, come try and warn
Duncan.
them.
Oh,
and be like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm gonna give you a couple little hints
he's got
to figure out how to defeat this demon or that demon or another demon," and then just poof.
Because now
Well,
think
See,
about it.
I
They
can see that
temporarily
happening.
stopped Moloch's plan, though.
Huh?
They temporarily stopped Moloch's plan. He
Yeah.
can't come
But
through
now
with his
they're-
army.
They
Horse-
stopped
Right now.
Plan B. Are we on Plan B right now?
I believe so.
Or we're on Plan C now. They stopped. Then most current plan, but I'm sure Moloch's got plans up the ass, you know.
Of course he does. The very end of the episode is the next plan.
Think
Yeah.
about it, though. We already have 2 horsemen on.
I don't know if we're gonna go into that yet, or if we'll wait on that. But yeah, the second plan's already into effect.
Yeah, I mean we already knew that Henry Parrish, Jeremy Crane, whatever. Let's decide what we're calling him right now. Are we calling him Henry or are we calling Jeremy?
Henry, because Ichabod's calling him Henry too.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I was a little shocked because he called him Henry, and I was like, oh, okay.
So with that being said, so
Okay.
at the end of the episode, we already knew though that Jeremy. Right? With that being said, Jeremy, that's what we decided not to call him. Jeremy...
Good job, Dom.
That's what we decided not to call him. We already knew Jeremy was the headless horse... Or not the horseman of war. We already knew he was that. So it wasn't a surprise, but now we're seeing the armor come through. It was forged from Moloch's powers, whatever, walked through this dimension.
Awesome.
And Henry... I mean, Jeremy is able to control him.
Yep.
Well, we've seen all of the horsemen riding together already.
Yep. In a brief.
And
Right.
Pestilence is also in the Roanoke episode.
Okay, so actually, this is he addressed as Pestilence?
No, but I assume that's what it is because he shot the boy or was following the boy. He chased him into the road. So I have just been calling him Pestilence.
Okay,
I'm gonna go along with that at the same point. Sorry, I don't mean to push, Michelle out of the screen.
Michelle, just get out of the frame.
The reason why I'm gonna agree with that because the whole Roanoke episode is dealing with this disease that's killing people.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in turn, they were running from Pestilence to get back into Roanoke to get the water supply or whatever that was needed to be able to cure everybody.
Yeah. So
I put 2 and 2
My
together.
point
and say
was-
Pestilence.
My point was we saw all the horsemen and
Yep.
Thor was in his armor. So what I thought was that Moloch was going to make him put the armor on, like he was going to have to wear the armor. But what I don't know, I think he's going to have to no, he's not going to give up the body cuz we need John Noble around. John Noble's awesome.
the typical telling of the Four Horsemen is death, war, famine, and the fourth one is the one that changes.
Yeah.
And it's either conquest or pestilence.
I feel like it's usually Pestilence.
Most shows that deal
John's
with it.
downstairs. Wait.
Most shows that deal with it, like Supernatural, for example, it's
Yeah.
pestilence.
Go get your
So-
boyfriend.
But
No.
there's a Darksiders, the video game. You guys played it?
Pat's played it.
What is the pestilence replacement? It's not pestilence, right? It's something else.
I don't remember.
I know there's. No, I know what you mean though.
Hold on, I'm gonna go through.
Somebody else try to figure it out.
Yeah. Well,
Google
It's
it.
okay.
it seems like each season so far, from just what we've seen so far, season 1 focused heavily on the Headless Horseman, which was death. This season, it seems like they're leaning more toward war, right? Do you think going forth, we're going to be introduced to a new horseman every season?
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Strife and Fury were the two replacements for Pestilence.
Ah, okay.
Strife and Fury. So I guess Strife would be Pestilence. That sounds like Pestilence and Famine rolled into one horseman, though.
Yeah, kinda.
Kind of.
So yeah, no, they do change, but I feel I know it as even before Supernatural. I knew it as.
Yeah, I knew it as pestilence as well.
War, famine, pestilence, and
Death.
yeah. That's how I knew them.
So, Cleo, Pat, do you guys think that they're going to introduce a new horseman every year? Do you think, Michelle already answered, do you think it's going to be, there like a main focus on one?
Yeah, probably the main focus this season is, well, we've seen as much of,
Death.
I was still
death as
looking
we've seen
into
of
the.
war this episode, so.
I was still looking into the Bible reference. Technically, if you look in certain Bible references, it's conquest, war, famine, and death.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
pestilence and famine could be considered one
War.
within the same.
Yeah.
So,
War
to
and
be
pestilence?
honest, we haven't seen anything of Conquest.
Right.
Not yet.
I'm assuming that this season is going to be 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because in turn, we've already had pestilence / famine, whatever we want to call that one, already rear its head once.
Mhm.
It's not going to be too far-fetched for it to show up again. It may not play an integral role. Yet, maybe a 1 episode or a 2-part episode that it might show up in. But war is going to be the main factor in this one, along with death.
Yeah.
And then I would say the next season may be, okay, well, here comes, famine, pestilence. That's the whole season, along with, okay, we're going to add the other 2.
Right.
And then finally end the whole, series if they're going to end it in 4.
I feel like at this point, introducing 1 for seasons 1 and 1 for season 2 works, but I think when you get into season 3, that it's going to feel too drawn out at that point, and I feel like they're going to have to introduce the last 2 horsemen at the end of season 2
It
and
all
just deal
depends on what Plan B is.
Plan G.
Plan G. Whatever plan we're up to, the current plan, it's going to depend on what this new plan is.
Right.
There's always a pending plan.
There's always a backup. At least
Yes.
a good villain always has multiple
Yes.
backups.
Yep.
But, okay, so here's another thing that I noticed. Death and famine, or death and war, rather, are also both people that Ichabod knew personally. Do you think the other 2 horsemen are also people Ichabod knew?
Very possible.
Could be.
But it also could not be. I mean,
Because Death was his best friend Abraham, not Lincoln.
But
Abraham, what was it, Von something? I don't
there's
remember.
some rich, snotty bastard.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, I know.
And Ichabod kind of did him dirty by stealing his girl from him. So the revenge motive is there. I understand that.
Oh,
Do you
okay,
think
okay.
there's more than just
Hold on.
revenge in that,
I'm
though?
going to stop you because Katrina is an independent woman.
Yes.
And she did not get stolen. She is
she
now
didn't want
property.
him.
Okay, sorry.
She left.
She
Sorry.
didn't want him.
But
She
in
was like,
his mind,
Fell in love with someone.
she got stolen out from under his nose.
Because she was
Well, from
property.
him, yes, but she has a mind. I agree with Cleo. She has a mind of her own, and she fell in love with Ichabod. Too bad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound misogynist.
No, it's okay. But every time he
Stop.
says that, every time he says Ichabod stole you, I'm like, bitch, no.
That's probably where that got embedded
so
into my head.
true.
So I don't mean it as the property, whatever, but they had prior engagements, and then he's giving her a necklace, you see this, and then she's like winking over at Ichabod, and it's like, that's wrong. You're doing
Well,
him dirty.
that's why she called the engagement off.
Right, exactly. So at that point, I understand that there's some motive for revenge there, but do you think the Horseman of Death is focusing only on revenge, or is there a higher motive than that for the Horseman? Not because of Moloch, but I'm saying for the
war
Horseman.
or for death?
For death.
For death. He's very blinded by revenge.
Yeah.
I doubt there's any sense of higher purpose. Because there was a point last season where he abandoned whatever mission he was supposed to do just to beat the shit out of Ichabod.
True.
This is true.
I agree.
But you said you think that they're going to be all people Ichabod knew. There are
Right.
2 witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
think
that's
the other
true.
I think the other 2 horsemen might be people
Abby.
people Abby knew.
That's
Ooh.
true. It could be. It could be.
Andy.
Who else could it possibly be?
Andy,
We've
Detective
seen Andy. I don't
Brooks.
think it's Andy. I don't know. Maybe we'll get more of their past. It could be her deadbeat dad. It could be, I don't know,
Corbin,
bad foster parents.
Or Chief Corbin, her mentor. It could be. I mean, they could use him as a
Corbin,
pawn.
because we haven't seen legitimate Corbin, ghosty or whatever.
Right. Exactly. And he could be taken over by Moloch for the reason for revenge.
But I feel like it would have to be someone who wanted revenge. I don't think Corbin would be someone who would want revenge on.
What about Abby's ex ex-boyfriend.
Something against her?
He's still alive.
Yeah, well, they could kill him.
They could. Alright.
I mean, isn't John Noble's character still alive too?
No, he died. They buried him. He was dead for like 150 years or something before Moloch resurrected him.
Okay. So for all we know,
200 years.
her ex-boyfriend could have been resurrected.
Exactly.
Her ex-boyfriend isn't dead though.
We don't know that. He could have been resurrected before
Oh,
he
I
was on the
see.
show, you know? It's kind of a
Yeah,
stretch. It's kind of a stretch, but
It is kind of a stretch because he is an independent tool.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't seem like
I'm
he's.
just trying to think, because it can't be somebody that they're just going to brand new introduce to us. It's got to be somebody
You
that
never
we
know, though,
recognize
Tom.
from Abby's past.
Hold on.
It could be.
Time out. I'm throwing a penalty flag. What about the chief? The one that's already arrested and for the murders? Remember whose daughter got
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring him up because that's so sad, but maybe.
somebody tied to him because in turn he's
Yeah,
also
the guy
tied
with the
into this
daughter,
whole
that's
thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
true,
true.
too.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. Well,
You know, yet again, we know he's in jail. He got arrested. We haven't seen him at all so far this season.
Well,
one episode.
I mean, the timeline is continuous, so he's only been in jail not that long.
And guys, this is only
As
the
it
beginning
stands.
of the second season. A lot can happen,
Yeah, this is true.
especially with the
My big question, too, is, like, they're going to have to come up with some way to stop these horsemen, right?
Of course.
You can't just end the show and the horsemen are still running rampant. Like, they have to have some contingency plan, even if they get canceled, that they're going to have some kind of ending that they could squeeze in.
I did say to Pat, though, wouldn't that be funny for a twist if the series finale has the Horseman winning, and that's it?
That'd be cool. I'd like to see
And
villains
the rest
win
of
for a change.
humanity just succumb to.
Yeah. But, so, I
End
got to
of the
thinking...
show is the end of days.
Yes.
Go.
Exactly.
But I got to thinking, if they are going to stop the horsemen, right? The only way I could foresee this and it making sense and feeling complete is if they redeem these characters. So if they can redeem the Headless Horseman death, if they could redeem his son and get them to forgive Ichabod for because that's the bonding point that the War and Death have right now, is they were both wronged by Ichabod.
Yes, if there's a way to bring them back out of Moloch's control, then yes, I think that would be a great path that the show can take.
Yeah. So, and that could also be a way to stop Moloch, is to redeem these horsemen, stop
that
them
they no
from
longer
being the
follow.
horsemen. His plan falls through. He comes up with another plan where he himself comes through, and they have to deal with him, Moloch, themselves. I think that's probably going to be the big baddie
Yes,
for
the
like
horseman
season
fighting
4.
Moloch, that would be the best.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we pulling? A X-Men apocalypse type thing going on? You know,
Yes.
Angel and everybody else?
You might.
Yes.
You never know.
So they're gonna get Cyclops and Storm and Wolverine too.
We might.
Gambit.
Jenny's
That's all they have to
gonna get the
do.
Wolverine
Get
claws.
Gambit to run up to the
Right.
Headless Horseman and touch him, and now he turns explosive, and then they shoot one of those holy crossbows at him, and he blows up. He's gone. That's it. They win.
No, just get Deadpool.
It's our official prediction. There you go. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Marvel.
Happening. Do you guys have anything else from this episode that you wanted to touch on?
I'm so excited for the rest of the season.
Me too. But Katrina, she should have just. I have to throw them in there. She should have just walked out. She totally she didn't have to stop the horse or the Headless Horseman.
No, she thought that was her only way of running out.
No, he was being kind. I thought, kind of.
I like that little moment when he put the necklace on and then he's communicating and she sees his head and,
Here, that was really cool.
yeah. But then she stabbed his hand. And
I was like, why would you do that? You should have just played along and then.
Well,
just
no,
left.
I think she stabbed the hand in order to try to
know.
stall
That was
him
me.
as long as possible.
Yeah,
but if she didn't stare at him at first and be like, "Oh, hey, I stabbed you," and then try to run, if
Yeah.
she just went and stabbed and just booked it, she would have at least gotten a decent way out of the room.
Yeah. Also, isn't she a witch?
Yes, she is. I think she lost her powers though. I remember from last.
Yeah, but she was still able to do a little bit.
little
What,
things.
what is this?
Not her full-fledged.
Well, she did a thing. Didn't she do a thing? I forget.
her coven, like with her coven, the powers were a lot stronger. Yeah, and then
No, she didn't do. No, but I'm saying she didn't do anything last year.
When she got out of purgatory, she did a thing. It was really weak, but she did it.
she did. I do remember.
Yeah, but
that.
I think with her coven is where her power is.
Well, yeah.
Her as an individual would be
power
like,
is always stronger. With
would be like,
combined.
ooh, I can grow a little plant and make it, grow faster than a regular, sapling would. It's not like, oh, hey, I can push you into a wall and run off or destroy you on my own.
She could do the little parlor tricks. I can't talk, right? Is it
Parlor
tricks? There we go.
Parlor.
Parlor.
It's better than parlor tricks. So
yeah, but she could do like little like this. Like all of a sudden she goes, and it's like, and she has a cookie, and it's like, where did that cookie come from? And it's just like, oh, this is a real cookie.
Oh,
delicious cookies. I love cookies. Cookies are so
Chips
good.
Ahoy.
This is Chips Ahoy Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Those are Chips Ahoy. Ah, damn you.
Chips Ahoy, not
Chips Ahoy.
Indeed.
No, Chips Ahoy like pirates.
Nope,
Ahoy
Chips
made.
Ahoy.
Cleo wasn't even watching. She didn't get to see my magic trick where I made a cookie appear out of thin air.
Cleo.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so season 2, episode 2, I actually don't even know what it's called.
Pat's looking it up.
I dropped the ball on that one. Totally dropped it up. I have it.
It's okay. I was supposed to write the notes, so technically I dropped the ball.
No.
But you were sick. It's okay.
I have it. It is called The Kindred. And in it, Ichabod Crane and Lieutenant Abby Mills concoct a daring plan to try to rescue Ichabod's wife Katrina from the Headless Horseman.
Finally!
By resurrecting a Frankenstein-like monster created by Benjamin Franklin.
Ooh.
So can we call it Franklinstein?
Yes, we can.
Excellent.
It's gonna be
Damn
naked.
it.
I don't know.
Green, too.
Meanwhile, Frank Irving faces new trouble after revealing the true details of the encounter with a demon, and Jenny Mills finds herself at odds with the new sheriff in town. So, it's gonna be an interesting episode.
Hope we see more of the old sheriff because I fucking like him.
Who knows? You may end up liking the new sheriff more.
True.
Maybe, but
I think it's going to cause a lot of
Not
tension.
if Jenny's at odds with them, but,
It'll
Yeah.
Jenny's not going to be at odds with a really lovable sheriff. That's just not going to happen.
yeah.
Jenny-
Well, I mean, I think Jenny
She's
had a real connection with the last two sheriffs. So if this sheriff is, going to be a dick or going to be suspicious or like distrusting of them, then I think she's just going to be like, hell no.
But you know what, too? She's been through a lot of shit. She's going to be skeptical and very, cold at first, I think, too. And if it comes on being, this arrogant, I know what I'm talking about. No, not really. Not really. You have no idea.
Also, so the old sheriff made a lot of special exceptions for Jenny and Ichabod,
And Abby.
and Abby. So anyone coming in is going to be like, what? What's going on?
That'll be an interesting dynamic, though. It's something that'll keep it fresh, because if they can just get away with anything that they want, they could literally do anything they want. And this one, we're going to have not only this not eternal, but this ongoing struggle with the Horsemen they have to deal with, but now they have a threat that's more close to home, too, that's going to prevent them from doing what they need to do with the Horsemen and kind of deal with that struggle as well. So it'll keep things fresh. I think it's kind of needed.
Sheriff is in ties with Malik. So
Ooh, this is true too.
Because we already had one on the police force that was.
Yep.
What's to say that we don't put somebody in higher authority to also screw with it?
That would be a good plan by Malik. That would be something I would do if I was Malik.
Maybe that's plan B.
Malik.
C, D, E, F, and G.
Yeah.
Dom, you are Malik.
I am Malik. I'm everybody.
You are.
You're going to make some
Everybody.
words.
I am everybody.
Dom,
and
you're a
nobody.
smorgasbord of things.
I am.
I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am everybody and nobody.
Everybody and nobody. All right, so I think that wraps this show up. Cleo, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Cleomoto on lots of things.
Lots of things. Excellent.
Something.
Pat, Michelle, people can find you in Time and Space.
History.
Oh, history.
History books.
Okay. Find Pichelle in the history books.
In the Revolutionary War.
Yes. 1776. Whoop.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can find me in Purgatory, or in case you can't get there, you can follow me on Twitter at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM.
Phenomenon.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
You can also follow all of us on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, G+, and right here on YouTube /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. As we mentioned earlier, make sure to catch our Gotham and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcasts from last night, which are now up, as well as our upcoming Supernatural, Vampire Diary, Original, Once Upon a Time, Walking Dead, American Horror Story, and everything else under the sun. So
everything else under the sun. Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, there you go.
Big Brother.
Big Brother. So until next week, see you guys later.
Peace out.
Gout.
To your moms. Woo. All right, that's good.